Liberals furious after what Meghan McCain let slip during heated talk on The View by Robert Rich Politics, U.S. News from AdWorldNews.com. Today's episode of The View is getting more attention than the show has in quite some time, but not for reasons that its liberal base is happy about. As it turns out, viewers were left shocked after what Meghan McCain let slip during a heated exchange. If you don't want the liberal narrative crammed down your throat, then you should never watch The View. However, things haven't been going too well for the leftist program these days, as they've been under heavy criticism. It's mostly their fault, so not too many people feel bad for them. Take, for instance, the fact that Joy Behar was most recently forced to apologize for saying that Christians like Vice President Mike Pence suffer from mental illness. After weeks of attacks and even their advertisers feeling some of the backlash, Behar finally said that she was sorry for her poor word choice. However, that's not the only reason that people are talking about today's episode. Come to find out, the topic of conversation soon switched to Hillary Clinton. Now, for those unaware, Hillary recently told an audience in India that President Donald Trump won because he recruited backward voters who didn't like black people or women, as the Washington Times reported. Of course, this isn't true, but that didn't stop the liberal co-host of The View from defending Hillary's right to make such inflammatory remarks. However, things would take a turn as at least two members of the panel started to attack. Behar said that Hillary had every right to say what she wanted to, but that's when things got ugly. In fact, Sarah Haynes was the first to voice her frustration, asking why are we still talking about the campaign, saying that Hillary's book was supposed to help her get over the loss. Sarah then simply stated that Hillary should be looking to the future, not whining about the past. Behar defended her beloved idol, but things were far from over, according to the Daily Caller. As it turns out, the biggest bomb would be dropped by Meghan McCain, who left viewers not too happy after what she let slip during the heated exchange. Meghan McCain wrecks Hillary Clinton and Joy Behar.
Aiming on the campaign trail.
Yeah. I think her whole answer was also looking backwards. That was in 2016. Like, why are we still talking about the campaign? She wrote the book, and it gave a bit of catharsis, like her side of what went down, and that's great. But I think part of what people discovered during that election, if you lean Democratic, is that the party didn't have messaging. It missed a lot of things.
Yeah, but why can't she talk? She's in India.
She
wants
can,
to
but
talk.
she's very influential.
And I think or anything? Probably. I'm sure she was there for a reason.
But even if they do, the best answer to give would be this. You know what? We've got a lot of problems, and I'd like to talk about those. That was yesterday.
She'd been eaten for that too.
Yeah, but I'd much rather see a leader come out and talk about some of the things that are broken, that aren't working.
She ran one of the worst campaigns ever. She didn't do the kind of ground game in Wisconsin and North Carolina that she should have. I think at this point, if you can't stop making this about virtue signaling and race, a lot of it was about poverty, a lot of it was about the economy, a lot of it was just this anti-Washington sentiment, anti-establishment sentiment that we should have seen growing with the Tea Party. And honestly, I have to tell you, it's one thing to lose to President Obama. It's an entirely other thing to pull off losing to President Trump. And you've got to come up with a better excuse than this.
Some of the things you said, all those things are true. But don't forget, Comey interfered in the election, and the Russians were
Again with the Russians?
100% in the election.
She's blaming married white women.
Wait a minute, you don't like to hear me say this, but she did win by 3 million more votes.
No, she didn't. If you illegal votes.
Is that the commentary of someone who feels feels good about themselves and their life and their future.
I think she's
We had Chelsea Clinton on last week. The Clintons are very omnipresent in politics still right now. If your messaging is that you want to go back in time, that women can't think for themselves, that our husbands and our bosses and our sons tell us what to do, that's
right. She won by 3 million votes. What? The illegals that voted for her and illegal voter fraud that they ship people to different counties to vote 2 and 3 times? Give me a break. Give me a break. And Joy Behar knows that Hillary never would have won anything. Don't tell me she's that stupid. No, she's not. She's just spewing what they tell her to spew because she's a mentally deranged woman. She ran one of the worst campaigns ever, McCain said. She didn't do the ground game in Wisconsin and North Carolina that she should have. She wasn't able to physically. That's why she didn't do the groundwork. The woman is falling apart. I think at this point, if you can't stop making this about virtue signaling and race, a lot of it was about poverty. A lot of it was about the economy. A lot of it was just that this anti-Washington sentiment, this anti-establishment sentiment we should have seen growing with the Tea Party. She's blaming married white women. Reciting the typical liberal talking points, Behar reiterated that Hillary won the popular vote by 3 million votes. However, that was about the time that McCain dropped a brutal reality check on Behar's head. Is that the commentary of someone who feels good about themselves in their lives and their future? McCain said. We had Chelsea Clinton on last week. The Clintons are very omnipresent in politics still right now. If your message is that you want to go back in time, that women can't speak for themselves, that our husbands and our bosses and our sons tell us what to do, that's quite the message going forward into midterms and general elections. What people like Behar don't understand is that the electoral college is in place for a reason, and that is because been there for quite some time. Hillary knew she needed a strategy to win the electoral college, not the popular vote, and if she didn't, that's on her. And this article doesn't mention the voter fraud. Along with that, why would we want 2 major areas, Los Angeles and New York City, deciding what's best for the entire country? Anyone still arguing for Hillary is just a moron who is too stupid to understand why she actually lost. It's really as simple as that at this point, because she was a crooked human being. That's the bottom line. People saw through her. She's corrupt to the core, and people saw through her lies and her deceit. The woman is falling apart. She has been falling apart for quite some time now, and yet she still wants to be president. Really? Really? She had the media for her, but her rallies were empty. What popular vote, Joy Behar? Her rallies were totally empty. You could, if you were blind, you could actually see she was going to lose. Trump's rallies were tremendous. The people were all up in arms going to Trump rallies. Give me a break, Joy Behar. You spew this bull crap on television and try to fool the people that she won the popular vote. That's why people are going to tune out of The View for being disrespected to this point, up to this level. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.